Hey everyone, my name is Sakairis, and I have a very interesting subject for you guys today, something that I haven't seen anyone else talking about, despite how big of a deal it is. So to introduce you to this topic, let me just start by saying that I think we can all agree that radioactive contamination is not a good thing. You know, it usually ends pretty badly. But thankfully, we as humans have developed enough technologies to keep radioactive sources under control over the years that radioactive contamination does not happen very often in an open environment. I mean, you know, sure, there's all these famous examples like Ukraine and Fukushima where a nuclear power plant has melted down, or maybe the US Navy somehow lost 4 atomic bombs at one point. How? But it's not very often that someone just loses a radioactive source in like the middle of nowhere. However, on January 16th, about 2 weeks ago, that is exactly what happened in the province of Western Australia. What happened is that a truck driving between the town of Newman and the town of Perth, transporting radioactive elements from a mining site to the city to get them repaired, got to Perth from Newman, opened up the little box or something where they kept all the radioactive elements, and noticed, there was one missing. Yep, that's right. Somehow, they lost a little tiny capsule about the size of a dime containing a significant amount of cesium-137. Now, for those of you who don't know what cesium-137 is, it is a very common radioactive source that is used in a ton of things. It's used in X-ray machines, it's used in a lot of lab equipment. In this case, I believe it was being used in mining equipment, like some sort of detector to see minerals or something through a wall. I don't really know. All the articles just say mining detector or something along those lines. But basically, cesium is a radioactive isotope, and it also has been involved in several incidents in the past of radioactive contamination. Probably the most well-known one, and also the most deadly, was in 1987 in Brazil, when the radioactive cesium salts that were being used as the source in some sort of medical or X-ray machine were not properly disposed of in a junkyard. A bunch of people came and was like, wow, what are all these cool glowing rocks? I better take these home to my wife and kids. And it ended up with 4 people dying of radiation sickness. Yeah. So obviously this is a pretty big deal, right? The Australian government does not want people getting radiation burns or dying of radiation sickness. From what I've read, the cesium source in this scenario was not as powerful as the one involved in the incident in Brazil, but it is still like enough that it will injure you if you pick it up and put it in your pocket for a few hours and don't know what it is. Like, it will end with you suffering very severe radiation burns, which I've heard are quite painful. So you may be thinking, Sakairis, if it's so detrimental and if it's so important that they go find it, why don't they just go look for it then? Well, the problem is that this tiny little capsule that, remember, like I said earlier, is about the size of a dime, was lost somewhere on the route from, like I said, Newman to Perth. That journey is a distance of 1,400 kilometers, or about 870 miles. For comparison, that is more than the distance between Paris, France, and Warsaw, Poland, or about the same distance as it is between Los Angeles and Portland, Oregon. Needless to say, the Australian government has been looking for this thing for like 2 weeks. They just put out a bunch of public statements. They put out images and size comparisons of what the capsule looks like and how big it is in case people find it, just so that people don't pick it up. And you know, the Australian like Ministry of Health or whatever it's called over there is like issuing warnings like, hey guys, you see this little tiny shiny thing on the ground? Don't pick it up because it will kill you if you put it in your pocket for too long. Yeah, here it is. Okay, the state government immediately launched a search with the Western Australia Department of Health's Chief Health Officer, Andrew Robertson, warning an exposed person could expect to receive the equivalent of about 10 X-rays an hour. That is, that's a lot of X-ray rate. That's a lot of radiation. That's not good for you. I don't know why this is a thing that I haven't really seen anyone talk about out much. The only reason I found out about this was from just scrolling through Reddit, trying to like ruthlessly trying to find video topics. And I came across this post where this guy made a 3D print of about the size and shape of the radioactive capsule. And as you can see from this guy holding it, I mean, it is like tiny. It is very small. And they have to search a stretch of road, the length between Los Angeles and Portland, to find this thing. And you know, there's a possibility that they might not ever actually find the source. There was an incident in 2015 in Norway where a couple samples of, you know, radioactive materials, including a sample of cesium-137, were being moved and to, you know, a quote-unquote secure location for testing or education or something like that, and they were never returned, and to this day we have no idea where those samples are. So it's happened before. It's possible that that cap might be out there forever. It's possible that, I don't know, an eagle might swoop down and eat it or something, and then we'll have Godzilla eagle. I don't know. I'm just trying to extend the length of the video at this point. Anyways, yeah, that's about it. So if you live in Western Australia and you see a tiny little shiny spherical object just sitting on the side of a road somewhere, maybe don't pick it up and call the police. Yeah. Anyways, my name is Sakairis, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.